Good. All right. And it seems that the noise upstairs stopped.
For now.
Touch glass.
Yeah, let me knock and make more noise.
Yeah.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
I'm Justin.
And this is the show where we pick a game out from each other's libraries that's been unplayed, and we sentence each other to 1 hour to play that game to see if it's the gold, the trolley gold, or a dump in the dark trash. Actually, that was gold as well. I like that dump in the dark, but
trolley gold was
trash.
Terrible, yeah. I mean, that's part of what inspired this show. And it's still something that do you still have it? Do you still own it?
I think it was one of the few titles that I actually asked Steam to remove from my library.
Yeah, you did that on purpose. You knew someday that was going to come back to haunt you because you only played it for about 10 minutes before you gave it.
I found it for cards and then I gave it back. So I can't remember what game I picked for you. I'm sure it's a gem.
Well, that depends on your point of view, I suppose.
Okay.
You gave me Autobahn Police Simulator.
Oh, yes. The mostly negatively reviewed game on Steam.
Indeed. No, well,
I mean,
444. I don't know if it's got the lowest reviews.
It's not the mostly, yeah, that was the wrong. It has a score of mostly negative as well.
That it does. It does.
I'm very interested to see what you thought about this one.
This game is developed by Z Software and published by Aerosoft GmbH. I'm not sure what that stands for. You're right, it does have mostly negative reviews with 444 reviews. When you scroll down through the reviews, it is mostly red thumbs down. The release date is back from 2015. At base price, it is $12. No way I paid that. Do you remember what we paid for it? Because this one is also sitting in your library.
I was kind of hoping it wasn't, but...
I'm pretty sure when I looked up the store page, it said, your friends also own this game.
Oh,
and
man.
You were there.
Well, at least we can't double dip.
Well, I don't know that we've ever made that a rule. I think that this is one that might be worth doing that. I'm going to have to because I need to grab footage for it for this video. That's always my joy of doing these.
Which is probably the only reason I played Trolley Gold.
It is 3.75 gigabytes, which was a bit shocking to me. I didn't think it would be quite that big once I started playing. Important to note, there are at least 2 sequels to this game.
Wow.
I did not look up any information about them. I didn't really care, but I did notice that there were Autobahn Police Simulator 2 and 3.
Oh, jeez. Wow, okay.
Which kind of surprises me.
Next on Buyer's Remorse.
Not in my library, though.
I'm sure. Maybe they'll give it away for free. And you'll just wake up one day with an update. A free update, Justin.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I get the update, guess who else is getting that free update?
Not if I beat you to it.
Autobahn Police Simulator, of course, is meant to simulate driving on the Autobahn in Germany.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't understand what the Autobahn is. Is it just the highway?
The Autobahn...
I thought it was one special road, one long one that had ridiculously high speed limits.
Or no speed limit. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was just a big road in Germany that had no speed limits, but because it had no speed limits, people were more careful on it, and it was one of the safest roads to drive on because people were more aware of their driving. So I'm guessing it's not very safe in this simulator.
Well, certainly not if I'm going to be the police in this one. When you start up the game, let's talk about starting up the game. You have to choose your name and your call sign. Your call signs have to start with like Alpha, Bravo. But honestly, I don't know how this affects the game at all. The only one that I really noticed affected anything was gender, because obviously it's going to choose a man model to put in for you or a woman.
Right.
And your model, I picked the guy, and his shoulders are just super broad, unnaturally broad. You can choose to do free play or campaign. I chose campaign because that felt like the proper thing to play. The music, when you get to the menu screen and all of that, is pretty great, but you do have to listen to it every time you get to the menu screen, right? And every time that you are, I think every time that you're loading, say, between the menu screen and getting into the game.
Right.
And along with it are some images that are meant to look like they're from the game, but I don't think they are. I think that they made art that was meant to look like it was in the game.
Storefront art to fool you into buying the game.
So it is a kind of issue where when you have to go back and forth between the menu, you have to see these images and hear this music. And at the beginning, when I didn't know what I was doing and I was having to go back and forth a bit, that does get a little bit irritating. Probably less of a problem later on, once you know what you're doing, if it's possible to know what you're doing.
One of those. Yep.
So, you start up with my very broad-shouldered guy. There are all sorts of weird information boxes that pop up. And I say weird, not the fact that they're weird that they pop up, but the instructions are not very clear. I don't know if it's the fact that English is not their native language, or they just don't know how to explain things clearly. So a lot of times the instructions will say things like, press joy 6, like press joystick button 6, but no joystick do I know are they numbered 6. This is somehow into the mapping that I don't know and I don't understand. So a lot of the beginning was guessing what button I was supposed to be pushing.
Man.
At one point, I gave up and I switched over to keyboard because it seemed like it'd be easier, but it's kind of not. And here's the problem.
Does it still say press joy 6? Like, where's joy 6 on a keyboard?
I think sometimes it says joy 6 or F.
Ah, okay.
So that's why I started to switch over to keyboard, because if I can press F, at least I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with this game, maybe you'd find it easier because you're much more used to keyboard, but they do a lot with the F5, F6, F7, F8, and F9 keys.
Okay, I've never seen that in a game before, but okay.
Well, you do.
I mean, apart from quick save and quick load.
Quick save, inventory, those kind of things. In a first-person shooter, you might have all your weapons keyed up and quickly press it. But what this game wants you to do is it wants you to drive while also having to control where you're looking, right? So you need your hand on the mouse, holding down the right mouse button.
What, to accelerate?
To move the camera around.
Oh god, it's like Roblox controls.
And your left hand can be using the WASD to steer, but the steering, maybe you can adjust it. I didn't really get into that because I was spending so much time just trying to figure out how this game worked.
Right.
That when you hit right or left, it's like a hard left and a hard right, and there's no in between.
Just this police car fishtailing all over the road.
I found it slightly better with the joystick, but only slightly better. I was running into rails and everything, all the time. Other cars, everything. The controls are rough, but keep in mind that on top of that, you have these 5 F keys that you need to be messing around with, because they're the ones that turn on your siren, check for speed, check for the radio, which will tell you if you have a mission or not. Everything that's important to the job is in those keys.
Yeah, so you'd have to either grow a 6th finger or...
A 6th finger wouldn't be enough because I couldn't reach that far.
Yeah.
You need a 3rd hand.
Yeah.
Which I don't have.
Yeah.
Which most people don't have. So I think that is a real problem with the game. Maybe there's a way to map it out on the controller, but the way it was set up on the controller as is didn't really work. So what I was doing, because the controls were slightly better with the controller, I was using the controller and then quickly trying to poke at the keys that I needed. And to make it worse, you have these kind of menus that go back and forth. So for example, if you want the siren and lights on, you have to hit, I'm trying to remember, I think it's F5 and then F6 into tools, F6 for the lights, and then you have to do it again, F5, F6, F5 for the siren. Oh, it's something like that. So, and you have to be able to do that really, really quickly. It's not very player intuitive or friendly.
That sounds absolutely terrible, yeah.
But it gets worse in the fact that I had no idea what I was doing in this game, pretty much ever. And this is part of the problem with the pop-ups, with the instructions that don't make any sense. Some of which, by the way, are half in German. So
half in German?
Like the heading will be in German. And so I sort of understand from the paragraph they give you what it's supposed to be about, but it doesn't actually, I don't really know what I'm doing. It would say something along the lines of, before you get onto the Autobahn, you need to get to the radio and click 1. 1 is car ready, which I guess means I'm ready to go on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not really sure. I kind of understand that, but I don't know when I'm doing it. I don't know what the other radio buttons are for, because they all have some sort of important function. Everything in this game must have some sort of important function, but it's a mystery to me. And the biggest mystery is do vehicle check. Let me say it exactly the way that they put it. Do vehicle check. You get this as your first objective, and I, in 1 hour, never was able to get 1 out of 3. I never knew what I was doing. If I said, again, you're starting off, you're a police officer walking out of the station.
Right.
You're supposed to get to your car. And I said, do vehicle check. What would you do first?
Walk up to my car and check that the lights were working. It was gassed up and tires were inflated.
That was my instinct. So I went up to it, and there are 2 of them. So I tried this with both of them. Going up, first off, with the controller, this part was nearly impossible. Because if you're off just a little bit, it will highlight a different part of the car, and then you're going to be opening the wrong door. So, for example, I'm standing at the driver's side door, and I'm just about to open it, and suddenly the highlight goes to the rear passenger door, and I'm opening that in an impossible angle. There's no way I could humanly do that with the door closed and without crawling through the window. So I've opened every door. They've got one in the back. So I was checking out, they've got some sort of mat in there, something that I don't know what it is. It looked like a toy bear. I don't know what it was. And one that was a traffic cone. That one is the only one that I knew what it was and what made sense. I looked at the engine, and that wasn't it. I couldn't find anything else to click. And it was difficult to even get into the car because you have to highlight the seats. And you have to be in the right spot, because if you're in the wrong spot, you don't get in the car. And then you get in the car, and then you clip through the car, and you're looking out through the windshield. You have to change your viewpoint to get out. I mean, part of that might be me button mashing, so maybe you would start from the back of the car. I think probably that is the case, but the first time I zoomed right in. What am I looking at? What am I doing? And I couldn't go anywhere because one of the doors was still open, so I had to go walk around.
Get out and shut the door.
Doors.
Safety first.
I tried so many things to check. I tried to put the car into a little garage, thinking maybe I could check it in there. That didn't seem to work. 45 minutes I tried for this. I did end up just getting frustrated and going out and driving.
Right.
Because I also thought, okay, maybe this isn't what it is. So after a lot of time of messing around with this, I went, okay, maybe this isn't what do vehicle check means.
Yeah, maybe it's go out on the streets and check for speeding cars or something like that.
Right. So this is what I did then. Well, the first time I went out the wrong way and just tried to drive straight into a semi-truck. Didn't work. It's not designed to head-on take any car. The cars will just kind of stop and wait for you. They might honk and be mad, but they don't actually do anything. There was one point in the game as well when I was driving, again, a bit frustrated, and I drove and was trying to run a car off the road, and it just was impossible. The other car equally balanced perfectly every time, so we were just driving down the road attached at the side. It's missing that GTA factor.
Yeah.
Right? So I get out on the road. I do, after a few times, finally figure out how to check a vehicle. So you're supposed to check if it's up to any mischief or doing anything bad. And you have to keep pace with the car or be right next to the car. I was able to do that, but that didn't change my 0 out of 3. So that wasn't it. Eventually I was able to get a speed check done. That wasn't it. Maybe you're supposed to do both of them, and maybe I never did do both with the same vehicle. There is a problem where you run out of road.
Oh.
Well, the map ends, in a way. Maybe it's because it's early objectives, but if I get to a certain distance, suddenly I'm back further on the road again, and I've lost the one that I was chasing.
I think I'm going to have to give this a shot.
And all this with, like I said, the controls are really awkward. I was able to do a couple of run into the rails and flip my car over and spin, but that was probably the most exciting part of the game. I don't know how many times I tried this over and over and over again. And then I finally got to a point where I got so frustrated that I said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do the campaign. Let me see what the free play looks like. I've got about 12 minutes left to go. So I hop into the free play, and the radio gives you a possible mission. So it'll pop up and you have to click accept. But the radio, what it's talking about, seemed to be about 15 seconds long, which is exactly the amount of time you have to accept the mission or not. You don't get a lot of time to accept or not accept. So I just accepted. But then I had this miserable searching for an easy accident. So I had to go find this easy accident.
The heck is an easy accident?
I think it means that it's not going to be complicated. There's one car. It's not going to be a huge 10-car pileup or something. Okay. But the HUD is a little weird. You have your car is a circle on there, and your goal is a red dot circle on there, and both of them have an arrow pointing out of it.
Okay.
Which you would think means your car, the direction you're facing, that's the direction the arrow is going to point, but it doesn't always. I think it's just broken, right? It doesn't work. You have to just follow the dot and keep going. And don't try to go on a side road that looks like it will give you a shortcut out, because it will do that same fade of you hit the end of the map and send you back the other way again. In fact, it will show you the map. It will fade out, show you the map, and then you're back on the road again. I guess pointing the other way, though for a while I didn't know. Everything looks the same in this game, so it's a bit difficult.
I was going to say, what are the kind of the views? Like, what do the buildings look like? Is it just rows of trees, or?
It's just nature, trees and grass and those kind of things. There might be other buildings, but the only building I ever saw was the station.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that makes it a bit difficult to navigate as well, because everything kind of looks the same.
Right.
When you're driving around as well, the roadsides are in German.
Can't fault them for that.
I suppose. But it does make it difficult when the instructions are given. It's really hard to catch. There was some radio message that kept playing over and over again, and I don't know what it meant or what it was talking about.
I was saying, why are you not doing this mission, Justin? You're going the wrong way.
Here's the thing, yeah, so I did end up going the wrong way. So I went over my hour because I was desperate to get this mission, because I just wanted to see what would it look like if I got there. Because I kept getting lost, or I would crash the car too much, and it was said, too much chaos, and you have to go...
much chaos.
You have to start back at the station again. So I was trying to drive along this highway. So what I eventually did at the end is I was very determined. I'm going to get to this wrecked car. So I started driving really slowly and trying, because again, if I crash too much, it's too much chaos and I have to start over again. So I was trying to go really slowly, and then I was sticking only to the highway, because if I go to the back road, it may take me out again. And then I ended up on the right spot, and I could see it going the other way.
Oh.
And they have not built into the game what would be in real life the emergency crossovers. I didn't see any of them. So I ended up having to go, exit, go across the bridge, and then hit the highway again in a way that was not intuitive to me, but maybe in Germany this is normal. So for me, if I wanted to get back going the other way, I would exit right, go left, turn left. But to get back on the road I needed, there was no left. I had to exit right, turn left, and then turn right. And it took me on a...
It's like a figure of eight, kind of.
Kind of. We would have some of these, but they would be very clearly labeled. Now, maybe they are clearly labeled, but if they are, they're in German, and I don't understand it. I finally did get to the crash, and you basically... you remember Crazy Taxi, right?
Yep.
So it has that circle around it. You pull up to the circle, you walk out, and you get to have a very awkward, weird conversation with the driver. And you get her documents. You can ask if she's been drinking, if she's taken drugs. and then you choose whether to make her take a test or not and what to do. So apparently some van had been dropping pieces everywhere. It hit her car, and that's why she called into the police. I've not seen the pieces. My character says I've not seen these pieces. But when I got back in the car, I had let her go. When I got back in the car, it said, correct. So I guess I did it right. But that was an hour and 17 minutes into this game, and I was done.
It feels like getting to the end of the rainbow and just finding a big pot of disappointment.
Kind of, yeah. I didn't really enjoy this hour. It was difficult. I mean, when the controls are bad, when you don't know what you're doing, when it gives you objectives that you can't accomplish and it doesn't guide you at all. This is perfect example of what am I doing in this game? And it wasn't good. It doesn't look terrible. Though there are some funny things, like when you, for example, take your character and you can make it run in a circle and he'll lean into it almost like he's on skates.
Oh, where have I seen that before? It was in Bloody Boobs or one of those Boobs games where it's like, yeah, he doesn't actually turn. He like leans over. It's almost like something out of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be that engine and just like noobs using it to make games and they don't know how to animate it properly. So it sounds like I picked a good one.
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
How much is this game again?
At base is $12.
Wow. They've got balls then. All right, 12. Oh, wow. $12. And so
there's no way we paid that. There's no way.
Nah.
This is bundled with
I think
honestly, I would not have picked this one.
Honestly,
ever.
I think Steam gave this away for free at one point. I'm pretty sure it's one of these free Steam giveaways.
That's
that they did.
possible. When you recommended this one, or when you
so I'm blaming
when you requested this one,
I'm blaming you, Greg, for this one. Or I'm thanking you, Greg, for this one.
When you told me about this one, I'm like, do I have this one? I know that's kind of the subheading for this whole podcast, but I really didn't remember getting Autobahn Police Simulator at all. It seemed like something that would stick out. And yeah, lo and behold, there it is. I have it. So I have played it. I didn't enjoy it. As far as recommendations, no one.
Really?
No one. I could only recommend this to developers that need to see a bad example. Maybe the second one is good. Maybe the third one is good. But the first one certainly is not.
Oh, man.
It's just a chaotic mess, and it wasn't fun.
Too much chaos. So you won't be playing it again then?
No. I'd probably recommend it to you, though.
I'm going to have to play it because I got to get the goddamn footage for this now. I'm going to see... Hopefully this woman, and I'll pick the other option this time. I'll arrest her or something like that and see what happens.
Good luck.
Yeah. Can you arrest people? Or did you not even? You wouldn't have even got that far.
There must be some way to. Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't get that far. I couldn't even get the police checks with the cars. I did get one that had a red exclamation mark over it, so I assumed it was doing something bad. But I couldn't figure out how to do anything.
Lights, maybe?
Lights and siren are on and nothing happened. It just kept going. This is the one that I rammed up against and we were just driving along the road straight because it was like designed not to go off the road.
Right.
And I think I ran out of road with that one. So
Still got the road from Matrix Reloaded then. Yeah, so just built one strip of highway for the game. Excellent! I'm very happy. So, tags then.
Driving simulator.
Yeah.
Because
really? Is it?
It's going to have to be. What else is it? Running simulator. You run around in circles. Other than that, I really don't know. Is police a tag?
I guess so. It is now.
We can make it. My other things would be like annoying, indecipherable. There just wasn't anything. Conversation simulator, because at least you can talk to somebody, but no tags quite fit it. Driving, yes. Okay. Simulator, yes. Police, yes. Okay. I think those would have to be the ones. Though I think police is a made-up tag. I just didn't know.
I think police should be a tag. Probably a lot of police games out there. Stop, it's the police. It comes to mind. I think I already know the answer, so it's definitely a confirmation, yeah?
That's definitely a remorse.
Remorse.
Jesus, sounds awesome. Can't wait to play it.
What game did I have you play for this episode?
Another one from the Ocean's Another one.
Hooray, hooray.
And the last
hooray.
one, I think. I'm pretty sure this is it. Done.
I know that I picked this one for you because you were actually afraid I would pick this one for you, which you foolishly mentioned in a previous episode of the podcast.
All right, so let me open this up.
Right, he's got a whole
And I've stapled
booklet
it wrong.
full. Is this the manual that you printed?
This is the original manual, yeah. All of the slave worlds bubble with unrest due to the oppressive nature of their rulers. They never reach the boiling point. They all lack a leader to draw the masses of the population together. When I played it, it was 2 cute characters. One's a dog, and one's another kind of dog. I always thought it was a cat.
All this and more in the next episode of Buyer's Remorse.